The strongest weapon in the Super Mario Brothers franchise is the star. When you get the star, you're practically invincible. What's typically characterized by the acquisition of the star in the Super Mario Brothers franchise is the music changes. The music, there's a particular music that comes with the gathering of a star. Just like there's a particular song of life that plays in a person's life once they achieve a certain level of stardom. Now, this music is subaudible to the human ear, but it's a vibration that you feel like a sweet spot. And so in this Super Mario game where your strength, your vitality depends on your growth, right? If you're little Mario, you can only get hit one more time before you lose a life. But if you're big Mario or some other form of Mario, you can survive a hit. You can get what is called a second chance while you're running the board. But when you get a star, it doesn't matter what touches you. You can practically destroy it just by running into it. And usually when a person acquires the star in this video game, the players themselves, they typically like to pick up speed because this star power has a duration on it. It has a time limit on it. And this is how star power works a lot of instances. You have to catch the season when it's hot. You have to ride the trend when it's still popping, when it's still going. You have to be able to ride that wave when it comes. So the star power has a time limit on it once it's acquired. The music will only play for so long. And Mario is changing colors, flashing colors to represent the acquiring of the star, the invincibility, the temporary invincibility. And with stardom, when you jump outside of the Nintendo world, when you switch, right? When you Nintendo switch from the Nintendo Switch to the real world on the other side of the screen, what you do get is this sense of invincibility that does come with popularity and fame that we see displayed very often, right? We get superstars, you got the TMZ, you got wild paparazzi events, you have, just all of these wild scenarios that follows many superstars in fame because the superstardom is an acquisition of a temporary invincibility. It's really your mythos. It's your mythos that's being created that really has this whole stigma of invincibility attached to it. But it's really more so you just being iconic that can be perceived as a form of invincibility or being untouchable. But the star has limited power. Stars, even in space, they burn out eventually. And you can see they start to change colors when they're headed toward their death versus a a star that's shining brightly, multicolored, more bluish. Then it starts to become like a white dwarf, a red dwarf, and then eventually a black hole. So when you're running through your level in the Super Mario game, as you're running, there's another thing to really be mindful of with this star when you acquire the star and when you acquire star power off the screen. What happens is you can still fall in a hole though and still be squished by objects. So you're impervious to the enemies on the stage, but not necessarily the stage. You understand? The backdrop and the framework and the blueprint, like rules of nature. You're still not impervious to these. Even when you have star power, even when you acquire the star, you can still fall in a hole and die. Even while the invincibility star song is still playing. And this is what you can have when stars get cut down in their prime. If their whole visage was something of machismo in a taunting fashion on the darker side of things, then yes, this could have led to some provocations that cause their lives to prematurely end violently. Because acquiring the star has invincibility, but is only temporary. So again, this is Super T Sigma with Sigma Programming. Over here, reaching is teaching. I thank you again for your time and attention. You already know I appreciate you greatly. In the meantime, continue to vibrate high, people. Peace.